topic is the people of Kenya up to the 19th century. The people of Kenya up to the 19th century. The 19th century is in short form. Who are these people of Kenya up to the 19th century? Before we look at the people of Kenya up to the 19th century, we have to know who was in Kenya before other people started migrating into Kenya. The original people that settled in Kenya before the 19th century, that is around 10th AD, were the Bushmen, related to the Bushmen of South Africa. The Bushmen related to the people of South Africa. These Bushmen in Kenya have various names according to the communities that they found, according to the communities that came into Kenya. For example, the Maasai called these Bushmen the Dorobo. The Kalenjins called them Okiek. The Luya people called them Omuye. And the Agikuyu people called them the Athi Gumba. The Athi Gumba. These were the original people that were in Kenya before others migrated into Kenya. So they were not here for long before others came in. The other people who came to Kenya later on, finding the Bushmen in Kenya, were 4 language groups. The 4 language groups were the Bantu, we have the Nilotes, we have the Kushites, and then we have the Semites. Number 4, the Semites. This is roughly the map of Kenya. This is Mountain Kilimanjaro. This is the famous Lake Rudolph. And that is roughly the sketch of Kenya. Roughly the sketch of Kenya. That's why we are talking about the peoples of Kenya up to 19th century. So the original people who are here before others came in were the Bushmen. And then other language groups started streaming into Kenya, at least by 1800. At least by 18th century. 1700, that is 18th century, 1800, that is 17th century, that is around 1800. Where did these people come from? The people who came to Kenya, let's look at roughly the map of Africa. This is the Kenya we are talking about. And these language groups started entering Kenya from different directions of Africa. The Bantus originated from West Africa. So from West Africa, they eventually found themselves in Kenya and South Africa. I'm talking about the Bantus. And because we are interested in Kenya, we are going to follow 4 language groups that originated from Congo. We have those who followed the western route. We have those who followed the eastern route. And we have those who followed the southern route. We are not interested in looking at the Bantus who migrated towards South Africa. We are interested with the Western Bantu and the Eastern Bantu. They originated from Congo. And then we have the famous Nilotes. The famous Nilotes originated from somewhere, the Ethiopian highlands. And as they moved southwards, they entered Kenya through Lake Turkana. The Kushites, we are told, originated from somewhere, the northern part of Africa, and found their way to Kenya through here, through the eastern direction. The Nilotes followed this route from the Ethiopian highlands, and then we have the Kushites who followed the northeastern section coming to Kenya. The Semites moved all the way from Arabia, because most of them were Arabs after all. So they came settling at the coastern part of Kenya. These are the 4 language groups that we have in Kenya. That is, as they migrated from their areas, they started their journey, according to the historians. They talk about 10th AD to 1,000 years ago. That is when they started coming into Kenya. And we are told these people had started settling in Kenya by the 18th century. What have we said? Before other language groups came to Kenya, we had the original people who settled here. These original people who settled here are related to the Bantus of South Africa. And our people refer to them by various groups. I mean, they refer to them. They've given them different names according to where these people are located. For example, the Maasais call them the Dorobo. The Kalenjins call them the Utiek. The Luya call them the Omuye. And the Agikuyu call them the Adi Gumba. So, as the others started streaming in, migrating into Kenya, they found these people here. And when we talk about migration, our people didn't enter Kenya the way the Israelites did when they were crossing the Red Sea. So these people, it took them so long before they started settling here. At least they started by 1,000 years wherever they were, and by 1800, they had already settled in Kenya. Most of the Bantus, because we've said, the Bantus followed the western route, the eastern route, those who came to Kenya. The western Bantu followed this route, settling in Uganda initially, but eventually they found themselves in Kenya through Mount Elgon. Some of them decided to use the southern, from the western route. Some of them followed southwards route towards the Kuria region. Before settling in Kuria, the Kuria region followed this route. But the other societies like the Abaluya, for example, we are talking about the Bantus. The Abaluya followed this route. The northeastern part of Lake Victoria, the northern shores of Lake Victoria found themselves in Mount Elgon and started settling, spreading around the eastern part of Mount Elgon. They would have been here for long, but we had other societies who are moving downwards, the Nilotes who are moving downwards. At least they made the Abaluya people settle around here. We had the Abaluya, we also had the Abagusi. They settled around here and then later on spread. Of course, with the influence of the migration of the Nilotes. So, the Bantu settled around Mount Kenya and then later on spread. And then we had the Abagusi. The Abagusi people settled at Ramogi Hills, just on the northern side of Lake Victoria. And I've said they would have been here for long, but other societies also displaced them. They settled in Nyando. I'm talking about the Abagusi. They settled in Nyando, later on moved to Kericho district, and from Kericho district, the Kalenjins forced them to go and settle where they are today, that is the Busi Highlands. These are the Bantus that followed the western route. And then we had these other Bantus that settled around Taita Hills. Taita Hills is supposed to be in Tanzania. We have Taita Hills in Tanzania. They settled here for some times. But because of various reasons, they eventually found themselves entering into the coastal region and found a very large settlement that was referred to as Shungwaya. I'm saying it was referred to as Shungwaya because history is very sensitive with time, so it was referred to as Shungwaya. But they were not here for long. We are told we had the Kushites who are moving downwards also. They were migrating downwards, and because they were a little bit stronger, they dispersed the Bantus who were in Shungwaya. These Kushites that dispersed the Bantus at Shungwaya were referred to as the Gala. Sometimes they are also referred to as the Oromo people. These are the Bantus from West Africa. They settled here by following two routes, the western route and the eastern route. And these are exact places where they followed. The Nilotes I told you, through Lake Turkana, they found large settlement just around the Lake Turkana before they started quarreling among themselves. And the Karamoja moved towards Uganda. We had the Teso people who moved to Uganda also through Mount Elgon. But some Teso people also were left behind in Kenya here as the others moved to Uganda. We also had another wave of the Nilotes that was referred to as the Kalenjins. The Kalenjins, through Lake Turkana, found themselves already settling on the Kenya Highlands, the famous Kenya Highlands. They came in different groups. The Kalenjins is composed of different subgroups. Like, for example, we have the Kipsigis, we have the Nandi, we have the Pokot, and other language groups. They settled on the highlands, and following them was also another language group that we refer to as the Ma people. The Ma people also followed. Through Lake Victoria, the Ma people found themselves settling in the vast areas of Wasingishu that was referred to as Sirikwa during that time. They settled in Sirikwa, but later on, because they fought one another for so long, as they entered Sirikwa, that is Wasingishu, they never stayed there for so long because they started fighting one another. They had a civil war among themselves because some of them had decided to borrow some culture from the Abaluya people, the art of cultivation. And because others had already developed cultivation, some of them did not like it. So they started quarreling among themselves because they felt that they were no longer one. Those who settled on agriculture, of course mixed farming, were Kwavi Maasais. Kwavi Maasai. And those who chose to be pure Maasais were referred to as the Purko. What am I saying? As they entered Wasingishu, they divided themselves into two because we had those who adopted farming from the Luya people. They referred to themselves as the Kwavi. The other were the Purko Maasais. And because they no longer were one, they started fighting themselves, weakening themselves. After they fought, Some of them decided to go as far as Narok and eventually moved to Tanzania. Those who chose to be pure pastoralists, we are told they moved towards Mount Kenya, that is to Nanyuki area, where the Europeans found them. But we are told eventually they moved to Ngong and then joined their brothers in Tanzania. These are the Nilotes. The Kushites, of course, has a very short history. They came to Kenya through the northeastern part. Of course, there were so many language groups. We had the Gala, we had the Somali, we had the Gabra, we had the Rendile, and many others. Through Kenya, they eventually found a large settlement, some of them that are referred to as the Southern Kushites. We had, of course, those who remained on the northeastern part. We had those who moved towards the southern part. We refer to them as the Southern Kushites. These are the Iragi. And of course, the Purungi. They decided to settle here as others moved towards Tanzania. These are the 4 language groups that entered Kenya before 1800. And of course, before we conclude the lesson, we have to look at the reasons why some of these people kept on migrating from one place to the other. The reasons why most of these societies came to Kenya from other regions are the high population. High population, of course, after people settling in an area for quite some time, the population grew, and as we had a high population, some of them started quarreling among themselves and they moved away. Others moved away because of natural calamities. What do we mean by natural calamities? Natural calamities are, of course, when Mother Nature sometimes decides to bring floods, diseases, and so on. Other people are forced to migrate because of natural calamities. Other reasons. The third reason why people are migrating from one place to the other and eventually found themselves in Kenya is as a result of when others were moving, others also decided to move. When others decide to move, it's because their relatives have already gone. They want to join their relatives. And you know, Africans, they would always want to stay in one region because they shared common ceremonies, marriages, burials, and so on. So others moved because others were moving. Another reason why these people are also moving is as a result of external conflicts. External conflicts. External conflict is when a society decides to fight another society. That is an external attack. A society attacking another society. That is what we refer to as external conflicts. Of course, when such things occur, others will be forced to move, especially those who are vulnerable, who are weaker will always want to move, leaving the stronger societies behind. We also had another reason why these people moved. They moved because of internal conflicts. Internal conflicts. That is, a clan may decide to settle somewhere, and after settling there for quite some time, you will realize they have their own differences. Maybe others will decide to steal other people's property and such like things. Of course, they fight among themselves. And as they fight among themselves, others are normally forced to move. These are the reasons why these people migrated from their original homelands, that is their cradle land, to Kenya. These are some of the reasons that made them move. And to make it clear, these people moved from other areas and it took them so long before arriving to Kenya. Imagine from the 10th AD, after the death of Christ, these people had already settled in Kenya around 1800. And the people of Kenya have not stopped migrating. They are still migrating. That is why in Kenya here we still have people migrating from one district to another region. A good example is the Abagusi. From their area, their homeland, Gusii Highlands, they have migrated to other areas. I want to say, if you look at Molo, for example, where we are, this is an extension of Kisii. So many of them are already settling here. What am I saying? We are still migrating. Any question? Do you have any question from anybody before we conclude the lesson? If there is no question, what have I said? The people of Kenya are divided into 4 language groups: the Bantu, the Nilotes, the Kushites, and the Semites. I've said these people were not originally here. They entered Kenya and found a community that already existed here: Bushmen. And these are the reasons that made these people move: high population, natural calamities, external conflicts, internal conflicts, and so many other minor reasons. But these are the main reasons why they moved. These are the main